Reddit's darkest conspiracy theories. Theory number 1, that they used the Epstein case to bury Pizzagate, and that Pizzagate is and was so much worse than Epstein. This theory says that the powerful people involved in child trafficking knew the Pizzagate story was getting too close to the truth. So when the Epstein case exploded in the news, it wasn't just about catching Epstein. According to the theory, it was a part of a plan to distract the public, control the narrative, and make sure that people stopped looking into Pizzagate. Now, Pizzagate started when a bunch of hacked emails from Hillary Clinton's campaign chairman, John Podesta, were published online in 2016. People noticed strange messages in these emails, and the theory says that these messages weren't just random or weird, is that they were using code words to talk about child trafficking. For example, the word pizza was said to mean a young girl. People started to think that a pizza place in Washington, D.C. called Comet Ping Pong was part of a secret network where powerful people were abusing and trafficking children. The theory says that some people in the media and the government tried to cover it all up, but the story didn't fully go away. I mean, it stayed alive on forums and websites. Well, in 2019, Jeffrey Epstein was arrested. He was charged with running a large sex trafficking ring involving underage girls. This theory says that Epstein wasn't acting alone. He was part of a huge network of powerful people doing the same things that Pizzagate was trying to expose. But instead of letting both stories shine a light on this dark network, the people in charge made a decision to focus all of the media attention on Epstein and keep all of the Pizzagate stuff buried. First, they used the Epstein story to control the conversation. I mean, news outlets flooded the airwaves with stories about Epstein, but they kept it focused on him and his crimes, not the people he was working with. The theory says that this gave the public a bad guy to focus on while protecting all of the others. Second, they used the Epstein case to make the idea of elite pedophile rings feel like old news. Since Epstein's case was real in public, it helped make, everything else, like Pizzagate, seem like a theory or a distraction. It was like giving the public just enough of the truth to make them stop digging deeper. The theory also points to how fast the media started calling Pizzagate debunked, right after Epstein's arrest. According to the theory, this was part of the plan. People started to think, why talk about Pizzagate when Epstein is real? Now, this is exactly what the people in power wanted. Now, the theory also points to Epstein's death in jail. He died before he could name names or testify. And this was another way to make sure that the full truth didn't come out. Once he was gone, the story kind of faded. And just like that, so did all the renewed interest in Pizzagate. In short, the Epstein case wasn't just a news event, it was used as a tool to bury the Pizzagate story, to shut people up, and to keep the darkest secrets of the elite hidden from the world. Theory number 2. Every night your consciousness gets uploaded to a clone in a facility where horrid things happen to you. When you wake up, they have a way to erase the memory of being there. This theory says that every night when you go to sleep, your consciousness, like, your thoughts, your memories, and your awareness, gets pulled out of your body and placed into a clone of you. This clone is stored in a secret facility, and it's not just, sitting there peacefully. Horrible things are being done to it. These things can include torture, testing, and other just dark experiments. The theory says that this happens while your real body is resting in bed, unaware of what's going on. Now, the people that are running this system are said to be part of a hidden group, possibly connected to the government, private tech labs, or secret programs. They basically have found a way to copy your consciousness without needing your permission. Some say the transfer happens through frequencies, meaning, waves of energy sent through the air, or through technology connected to satellites or signals. While you're asleep, your mind is living inside this clone body and going through all of the pain and fear. And when the night is over and your clone is no longer needed, your consciousness is placed back into your real body. Before you wake up, they use a method to erase all of the memories of what happened, and this is why, people never remember anything strange. The theory also says this memory wipe might work through sound, light, or chemicals, or, even through advanced brain control. Some people say that nightmares or sleep paralysis are signs that the memory wipe didn't fully work. And now this process is repeated every single night. You go to sleep, your mind is taken, your clone suffers, your memory is erased, and then you wake up feeling normal, never knowing what really happened while you were sleeping. Theory number 3, Squid Games depicts what really goes on at elite gatherings. This theory says that the show Squid Game is not just a story or a warning, but a direct look at what actually happens behind closed doors at elite gatherings. The rich and powerful are said to host secret events where real people, usually poor people or desperate people, are forced to compete in deadly games for their amusement. Just like in the show, the players are often chosen because they have no way out. They have no money and they have no support. They are promised a chance at wealth if they win, but the real goal is to, of course, entertain the elite. Now, these games are believed to take place in private and heavily guarded locations, far, far away from the public eye. Some say they happen on islands, in bunkers, or honestly, just hidden parts of major cities. The people running these games are said to be billionaires, royals, or even high-ranking figures who enjoy just purely watching other people suffer. They make bets, they wear masks, and they stay hidden, just like the VIPs in Squid Game. And it's not just about fun. I mean, these games are also used to test obedience, study human behavior under pressure, and even recruit people who prove themselves as useful. Some believe that these elites see themselves as above the law, so they do what they want without fear. They see human life as something to play with. The theory says that Squid Game was allowed to be made by a way to hide the truth in plain sight. By turning it into a TV show, people, would see it as fiction, not fact, but those who know what to look for see it as a message or a clue. The colors, the guards, the shapes, and the strange rules are all believed to be based on a real system used in these hidden events. Theory number 4, the food that we have been eating in the United States is a huge part of the mental illness going on today. This theory claims that the food people eat in the United States is one of the biggest reasons for the rise in mental illness today. It focuses on the chemicals, preservatives, and additives that are put into everyday food. These things are not just for taste or longer shelf life, but are said to change the way that the brain works. Things like artificial dyes, high fructose corn syrup, seed oils, and fake sugars are all believed to damage mental health over time. Some say these ingredients mess with brain chemistry and even make people more anxious, depressed, or angry. Now, one of the biggest concerns is processed food. The theory says that these foods are made this way on purpose because they are cheap to produce and addicting to eat. Some even say food companies know these ingredients affect mood and mental clarity but keep using them anyway because it keeps people hooked. The theory says that pesticides sprayed on fruits and vegetables can also play a part. These chemicals don't wash off easily and can build up in the body. Over time, they are believed to affect hormones and brain function. There's also concern about how meat and dairy are treated. Some animals are given hormones and antibiotics, and people are eating those chemicals without even knowing it. Many people in the United States eat this kind of food every single day, and this theory says that this constant exposure is breaking people down slowly and making them more tired, more confused, and more mentally unstable. Theory number 5, that billionaires have had a secret meeting and determined that the earth is doomed, and so they hoard as much wealth as possible to live as lavishly as they can with the remaining resources and time before potential colonization of other planets becomes viable, if at all. This theory says that some of the richest people in the world had a private meeting where they came to a dark conclusion. They believe that Earth is damaged beyond saving, whether it's from climate change, pollution, overpopulation, or just something else. They think that the world is heading towards collapse, and not just slowly, but in a way that will make normal life impossible within the next few decades. So instead of trying to fix things, they decided to enjoy what time is left in total luxury. And instead of, working together to help the planet or share resources, they focus on grabbing as much money and power as they can. They buy land in remote places, they build bunkers underground, and they invest in advanced technology that only, they can afford. Some of them are even putting money into space travel, hoping that one day they can leave Earth behind. Colonizing other planets, especially Mars, is a big part of their plan. But they know that this will take a long time and might never fully work, so until then, they just, want to live as comfortably as possible with what's left. They see regular people as part of the problem and don't believe saving the whole population is realistic. Instead, they focus on survival for themselves and those close to them. Some even build private islands or massive underground shelters filled with years of food, clean water, and medical supplies. There are also claims that they fund secret research into anti-aging technology or ways to basically upload their minds into machines just in case the planet dies before another world is ready. And while people argue over jobs, housing, and rising prices, these billionaires are just quietly building their escape plans in the background with no intention of letting the rest of the world in on what they know. Theory number 6, Flight 93 was shot out of the sky. They knew the other plane was now on a suicide mission to hit a target, so they shot it down and told everyone that it was a passenger uprising. This theory is about what really happened to Flight 93 on September 11th, 2001. Most people were told that the passengers on the plane fought back against the hijackers and crashed the plane into a field in Pennsylvania to stop it from hitting its target. But this theory says that that's not how it went down. It says that the government knew the plane was hijacked and headed towards a major building, possibly, the White House or the Capitol. They didn't have time to wait or take chances, so they made the call to shoot the plane down. The theory says a military jet was sent to intercept Flight 93 as the plane was already past the point of no return. If it made it to its target, even more people would die, so the only choice left was to destroy it in the air, even if that meant killing all 40 passengers on board. But instead of, admitting that, they came up with the story of a heroic passenger uprising. That way the public would have something brave and inspiring to hold on to during the already terrible day. There are parts of this theory that point to the debris from Flight 93 being scattered over a very wide area, even, miles away from the main crash site. Some say that looks more like what happens when a plane explodes in the sky, not crashes into the ground. There were also reports of other aircraft in the sky near the area, and some say that that might have been the jet that fired the missile. And the reason that they would lie about it is pretty simple. After all the loss that day, admitting the government had to kill its own citizens would have been too much, so instead they gave the public a story that made the people feel proud, not more afraid. Theory number 7, the US government is slowly working towards disclosure of the fact that aliens exist. They are on Earth, in our skies, and under the ocean. And the biggest reason why they have kept this secret for so long is the revelation of who we actually are. The aliens have been here for thousands of years and are responsible for creating us by manipulating our DNA over many eons. The aliens are actually the origin story for religions and even the Greek and Roman god mythology. This theory says that the US government has been hiding the truth about aliens for a very long time, but is now slowly preparing people for the truth through disclosure, meaning that they're just going to slowly release the real information about aliens instead of just, denying everything at once. The idea is that aliens are not only real, but they have been here on Earth, in our skies and under our oceans for, thousands of years. They didn't just visit once and leave, they've stayed hidden in places that humans can't easily reach, like deep in the ocean or underground bases. Now here's the deeper part of this theory. The reason that the government has kept it a secret for so long isn't just, about fear or panic. It's because the truth about aliens would completely change how people see themselves. The idea is that humans were not made by accident or, evolution alone. Instead, aliens played a major role in our creation. Over thousands and thousands of years, they slowly changed our DNA, shaping us into what we are today. Basically, they are seen as the true creators of human beings. And this doesn't, stop with science, it goes into religion and history too. The theory says that many religious stories, especially from ancient times, are actually based on alien beings that people didn't understand. When early humans saw these powerful visitors, they called them gods. That's where stories like the Greek gods, the Roman gods, and even some parts of the Bible come from. These stories weren't myths, they were just memories of advanced beings with incredible knowledge and technology. Now, the government is trying to ease people into this idea using, UFO reports, whistleblowers, and strange leaks to basically just prepare all of us. They know the truth could change everything about how people see life, how people see religion, and even, how people identify. Theory number 8, the dark forest hypothesis. The dark forest hypothesis is an idea about why humans haven't found alien life yet, even though the universe is huge and has been around for billions of years. It compares space to a dark forest. In this forest, every civilization is like a hidden hunter. Each one is silent, hiding in the dark, and trying not to be seen. The reason they stay quiet is because they are afraid. They don't know what kind of life might be out there, and they don't want to risk being destroyed by something more powerful. Now imagine that one of these civilizations, like ours, starts making noise by sending out radio signals or launching satellites that can be detected. In the dark forest, that's like lighting a fire or just like screaming. And in a place where everyone is scared and trying to survive, drawing attention to yourself could get you killed. So the theory says that other civilizations might already know about us, but they're staying hidden on purpose. They might be watching us to see if we're dangerous or not, or they might have already destroyed other loud civilizations before they've had the chance to grow. This idea is based on two main points. First, survival is always the top goal for any intelligent life, and second, no one can really know what another civilization wants or is capable of doing. Because of this, the safest choice is to stay hidden and destroy any possible threat before it becomes too strong. So in this theory, the reason space seems so quiet is because everyone is hiding, or someone already made sure it stays quiet. And if this is true, then sending signals into space or announcing our presence might actually be pretty fucking dangerous. We could be calling out to something that we don't fully understand, and we might not like what answer we get back. Theory number 9, that the CIA really murders innocent people, most notably the very Americans it was supposed to protect to get what it wants, whatever that may be, thinking they're doing it for the quote-unquote greater good. This theory says that the CIA has quietly killed innocent people, including Americans, if they were seen as threats to secret goals or larger missions. These killings are not done out of personal hatred, but because the agency believes removing certain people is necessary to protect national interests or maintain power. It is all done in secret under the idea of serving the greater good, which basically just means sacrificing a few lives to save many or to control something bigger like politics, public opinion, or foreign power. Now, the CIA is supposed to protect the United States and gather intelligence about foreign threats, but this theory says that the agency sometimes sees its own citizens as threats too. You got journalists, you got whistleblowers, you got political activists, or honestly just anyone who knows too much and is willing to speak up. They could be considered dangerous. Instead of, arresting them or warning them, this theory says that the CIA sometimes just takes them out. It could look like an accident, a suicide, or even a random act of violence, but behind the scenes, the theory says that it is all planned, and it is not just about individuals. Sometimes it is about controlling events. If a person stands in the way of a war, a policy, or a covert mission, they might be eliminated quietly. The agency may use poisons, staged crashes, untraceable weapons, or fake medical events to make sure it cannot be linked back to them. These moves are done with full awareness that they're illegal, but the people involved believe that they are protecting something bigger than any law. They may convince themselves that they are saving the country by doing terrible things that no one else is willing to do. So in this theory, the CIA acts as a judge, a jury, and an executioner, all while hiding in the shadows, keeping control by removing threats before they become a problem. Theory number 10, the social credit system is about to be implemented all across the world and we will lose our freedoms. This theory says the entire world is slowly being pushed into a global social credit system. It would work like a digital score that tracks your behavior, tracks your choices, and even tracks your opinions. The score would decide what you can and cannot do in a society. Now, right now, this is mostly associated with China, where people are already scored based on things like, how they spend their money, who they talk to, or even what they post online. But the theory says that this isn't just a China thing. It is the testing ground for something much bigger. Now, governments and big tech companies across the world are collecting more and more personal data. They track what you buy, where you go, what you like, and even what you say. The theory connects this to the rise of things like digital IDs, cashless payments, facial recognition, and online censorship. It all adds up to one goal, which is to control people's lives through a system of rewards and punishments. If you follow the rules, you get a good score. You might be allowed to travel, get better loans, or move freely in society. But if you speak out, support the wrong cause, or even associate with someone who does, your score could drop. That means losing access to travel, jobs, money, or even food. And because everything is digital, you can be shut out of the system with one click. This theory says that once this system is in place, freedom will be completely gone. People will self-censor and obey, not just because they believe in the system, but because they are, afraid of being cut off. It's not about protecting anyone, it's about total control, and there's, zero way to escape it. And this theory theorizes that this is coming a lot faster than people realize. And then, a social credit system could be the next step in a one world government. But, you know, we won't get into that right now. That's a topic for a different day. Theory number 11, that the smartphones can listen to and even see you. One evening, I was alone at home and cooked a certain brand of pasta, and the next day, my Duolingo app showed the commercial for that brand of pasta 3 times. This theory says that smartphones are always listening to you and even watching you, even when you don't have any apps open or when your phone seems to be off. It's not just about voice commands or camera apps, it's about the hidden background activity that most people don't even notice. Every phone has a microphone and a camera built into it, and this theory says that those tools are being quietly used to gather data about your life without your permission. Now think about how many times you've had a private moment, you know, maybe talking out loud to yourself or just doing something completely random, and then the next day you start seeing that, you know, you start seeing ads that match that exact moment. You know, you might not have typed it into Google or texted anybody about it or even searched for anything related to it, but the ad, still shows up. I have a good example of this. The other day I was talking to my mom about Philly cheesesteaks, and then I went on Instagram and I got like 30 recipes for Philly cheesesteaks. But this has happened to so many people and it always feels too exact to be a coincidence. The theory connects this to data mining. You know, that means taking huge amounts of personal information and turning it into a profit. Companies use your data to sell you products, predict your behavior, and even influence how you think. And they don't always need your words either. Some believe the phone can detect your surroundings, read your emotions through your voice, and even use the camera to see like products that are in your home. And this is not just like the apps doing this. The theory says that it's your phone. Your phone is built to spy on you, and you're not required to accept any special permissions. As long as your phone is on, it's watching and listening to you. Theory number 12, Hitler faked his suicide and made it to South America. This theory says that Adolf Hitler did not die in his bunker in Berlin in 1945. Instead, he faked his suicide and escaped Germany as the war came to an end. Now, the official story says that he shot himself and had his body burned to avoid capture. But this theory claims that that was all just a setup. A double, or a body double, was used to fool anyone who came into the room afterward. Now, the theory says that with help from high-ranking Nazis and possibly even secret groups in other countries, Hitler was able to flee Berlin before the Allies closed in. He may have used underground tunnels, planes, or submarines. Some versions say that he went to Spain first and then from there to Argentina, and Argentina was a place that took in a lot of Nazis after the war. Argentina was seen as a safe place because it had a government at the time that wasn't, really against the Nazis. There were also German communities already living there, which would help someone like Hitler disappear. People who support this theory point to strange sightings of a man who looked like Hitler in Argentina and nearby countries like Chile and Brazil. There were even reports of a small German-style town in the middle of nowhere where ex-Nazis were living quietly. Some say Hitler lived there for many years under a new identity. He was married and even had children. His supposed death in 1945 was just a cover so he could escape and start over without being hunted. And the theory says that this was all carefully planned before the war ended, not just to save one man, but to protect a bigger network of people with power and secrets. Theory number 13, that the God of the Bible is actually just an alien who convinced people he was a god. This theory says that the God described in the Bible was not an actual human being, but an advanced alien from another planet. This alien came to Earth thousands of years ago when early humans were still developing and didn't understand science or technology. Because of this, they thought anything powerful or mysterious had to be a god. So when this alien showed up with things like, flying ships, strange weapons, or, knowledge of the stars, people saw it as a god coming down from the heavens. Now, the theory suggests that many of the miracles and events in the Bible can be explained by alien technology. For example, the burning bush that Moses saw could have been a type of communication device. The parting of the Red Sea may have been caused by advanced machines that could control the weather or move water. The 10 Commandments being carved on stone tablets might have been done using lasers or some kind of machine. To the people at the time, all of this would have looked like, magic, but it could have been just science far beyond anything that they had ever seen. This alien may have used fear and power to control humans, making rules, demanding worship, and punishing those who disobeyed. Some versions of the theory say that this alien wasn't alone and that there were other beings like it, possibly explaining stories of angels or other gods in ancient texts. The alien may have even created humans through genetic modification, mixing their own DNA with that of early humans. That would explain why humans suddenly developed intelligence and advanced thinking. And according to this theory, ancient religious texts are not holy writings, but records of contact between humans and these powerful beings from space who were mistaken for gods. Theory number 15, that the guy who invented the water power car was poisoned in a Cracker Barrel because of the oil industry, and that the US government was in on it. Now, this theory is about a man named Stanley Mayer. Now, he was an inventor who claimed he built a car that could run entirely on water. He said his invention used a process that split water into hydrogen and oxygen. The hydrogen would then be used as fuel. This method is called electrolysis. Now, most cars need gasoline, but his car only needed water. If this worked, it would have completely changed the world. People wouldn't need oil or gas anymore. Energy would be, pretty much free. The theory says that big oil companies found out about the invention and saw it as a major threat. If people could drive without gas, the oil industry would lose billions. So instead of letting, his invention go public, powerful people tried to shut him up. Now, one day, Mayer was having a meeting at a Cracker Barrel restaurant with 2 Belgian investors. All of a sudden, he ran out of the restaurant holding his throat and said, "They poisoned me." Then he collapsed and died right there in the parking lot. Now, the theory says this wasn't just a random death. It was an assassination, and some people even believe that the US government helped cover it up because they work closely with the oil industry and didn't want energy independence for the public. There's also talk that Mayer had been offered large amounts of money to hand over the rights to his invention, but he refused. After that, things started to get suspicious. His lab was raided, his work vanished, and people stopped hearing about, the water car. And now, years later, some people still believe he was silenced to protect oil profits and that the technology to run cars on water already exists, but it's just being hidden from the public because oil companies would lose billions of dollars. Theory number 16, there are/were plans behind the Denver Airport. Denver International Airport is known as one of the biggest and busiest airports in the world, but some people believe it's more than just a travel hub. This theory says that the airport is actually a secret headquarters for powerful groups like the Illuminati, the New World Order, or even aliens. The whole airport, which opened in 1995, is full of strange clues and symbols that seem to point to a deeper hidden purpose. Now, one of the first things people notice is how massive the airport is. It covers way more land than most airports need. Underneath it, there are a bunch of tunnels and underground rooms that were supposedly meant for luggage systems, but they never really worked right. And instead of tearing them down, the theory says that those tunnels were turned into bunkers, control centers, or even prisons to be used in case of a world emergency. Some say it's a fallout shelter for the global elite if there was ever a war or a disaster. And then there's the artwork. Inside the airport are murals that show things like soldiers with gas masks, children in coffins, and cities burning. These pictures are out in the open but feel dark and full of messages about war, death, and global control. There are also strange statues and sculptures like the giant blue horse with glowing red eyes at the entrance. That horse, by the way, his name is Blucifer, and it even killed its own creator when it fell on him during construction. There are also symbols connected to secret groups. Some plaques mention the New World Airport Commission, which doesn't seem to be a real organization. There are Masonic messages too, like the Freemason Square and Compass, which some connect to ancient secret societies. Theory number 17, the Bermuda Triangle and the ocean in general. Something's in there. The Bermuda Triangle is a mysterious area in the Atlantic Ocean, roughly between Miami, Bermuda, and Puerto Rico. For decades, people have talked about ships and planes that vanish there without a trace. And what makes it so strange is how many of these disappearances happen under clear skies with no warning and no wreckage ever found. Some think there's a powerful force in that region that messes with time, space, or honestly even gravity. One common idea is that there's a hidden underwater base deep beneath the ocean floor, possibly used by aliens or secret military groups. This base could send out energy waves that confuse navigation systems or pull ships down into the water. Now, there's also the theory that the Bermuda Triangle is some kind of natural portal. This portal could lead to another dimension or even another planet. Some say this explains how whole aircrafts can vanish in seconds and never be found. Others think ancient technology is buried down there, possibly left behind by the lost city of Atlantis. Now, if that tech is still active, it might create electromagnetic fields that shut down engines or cause people to get disoriented. And this connects, to a much larger idea, that the oceans hold secrets that we aren't even close to understanding. Some think there are massive creatures or beings that live in the deep sea, hidden from the surface. These creatures could be ancient, smart, and they could even be watching us. Others say entire alien civilizations live in underwater cities, and they use the ocean as a shield from human discovery. The ocean covers 70% of the Earth, and most of it has never been explored. So the idea is that there's something huge and powerful out there hiding in the dark water, and places like the Bermuda Triangle are just small signs of a much bigger secret. Theory number 18. Flight MH370 got zooped through a portal. The videos are real. The theory about Malaysia Airlines flight MH370 is that it didn't crash or get lost in the ocean like most people think. Instead, the plane flew through a mysterious portal or wormhole in the sky and disappeared into another dimension or a different place. Now, the idea is that this portal opened suddenly and sucked the plane inside, making it vanish without a trace. Now, this theory, comes from the fact that despite huge search efforts, no clear wreckage has, ever really been found. People find it strange that the plane just seemed to vanish completely, as if it was never in the skies. The path the plane took before disappearing also doesn't fit with normal flight patterns or accidents. Some say the pilots might have not known about the portal and just, flew right into it by accident. And some versions of the theory add that the area where the plane disappeared is known for strange phenomena, similar to the Bermuda Triangle. This makes people think that there could be hidden forces or advanced technology causing these disappearances. The portal might be a secret military experiment gone wrong, or even alien technology. According to the theory, MH370 is still somewhere. It could be trapped in another dimension or a different time. Some say that the passengers and crew might even still be alive, but stuck in a place that we can't reach. It's like the plane was erased from our reality, but exists somewhere else. The idea of the plane flying through a portal helps explain why no wreckage was ever found and why the disappearance remains one of the biggest aviation mysteries, of all time. It's a way of saying the answer is beyond normal explanation, pointing to something extraordinary happening that no one can explain. Theory number 19. I'm 100% sure that the moon is not what I've been told it is. This theory says that the moon is not what we've been told it is by scientists and governments. Instead of being a natural satellite made of rock, it might be an artificial structure or something completely different from what we think. The idea is that the moon could be a hollow spaceship, a giant alien base, or even, a kind of advanced machine placed there for, unknown purposes. Now, some people point to these strange things about the moon that don't quite add up. For example, the moon always shows the same side to Earth, which some say is pretty unusual. They wonder if it was placed there on purpose, designed to control or observe life on Earth. The theory also mentions how the moon's surface looks different from what you wouldn't expect it if it, formed naturally. Some say the patterns of craters and the way it reflects light seem artificial or almost too perfect. And there are claims that some photos and videos from moon missions have been altered or faked. This makes people, think that we've never actually been to the moon, or if we did, we were only allowed to see certain parts of it. The real secrets about the moon are being kept hidden from the public. The moon might also be connected to controlling Earth's tides, weather, or even human behavior in ways that we just don't understand. Some versions of the theory say that the moon is a kind of controlling center, monitoring or influencing us without, our knowledge. In short, the theory just says that the moon is not just a rock in space, but something with a secret purpose. It's something designed, controlled, or used by forces we haven't been told about. Theory number 20. The men in black are real. The men in black are said to be real secret agents who show up after someone witnesses something strange, usually related to UFOs or alien activity. They wear dark suits, drive black cars, and act very mysterious. Their job is to silence people who have seen things that they shouldn't have. This could mean intimidating them, threatening them, or even erasing their memories so that they won't talk about what they saw. Now, these men in black are not just regular government agents. The theory says that they come from a secret group that works behind the scenes. They have advanced technology that helps them keep their actions hidden, and sometimes, they seem almost supernatural. People describe their encounters as scary and confusing because the men in black often deny everything and try to convince witnesses that what they saw wasn't real or to forget it completely. Some stories say the men in black can appear out of nowhere, their voices can sound robotic, and their eyes might even look strange, kind of like they aren't, fully humans. This adds to the idea that they might be aliens themselves or controlled by aliens working to cover up the truth about extraterrestrials on Earth. And it's not just, about aliens. I mean, the men in black are thought to control information about many hidden government secrets, including advanced technology or experiments people weren't supposed to know about. Whenever someone gets too close to discovering these secrets, the men in black step in and stop them. In short, these agents use a mysterious force used to keep the truth hidden. They protect powerful groups by making sure witnesses stay quiet, using fear or even mind control. And it's said that they are always watching and that they are always ready to silence anyone who might expose what's really going on behind the scenes. Theory number 21, PETA is run by the meat industry. There is a theory that PETA, the animal rights organization known for, fighting against cruelty to animals and promoting veganism, is actually controlled by the meat industry. Now this sounds strange because PETA appears to be against meat and animal farming, but the theory explains that their real job is to confuse and weaken the animal rights movement from the inside. Now, the idea is that the meat industry secretly funds or influences PETA to make sure their power and profits stay safe. Instead of truly ending animal cruelty or stopping people from eating meat, PETA's actions are designed to create chaos, distract people, or even scare people away from supporting animal rights. For example, some of PETA's campaigns use shocking or extreme messaging that can upset people or make them feel uncomfortable. This causes arguments and divides among activists and the public, making it harder for the animal rights cause to grow. And the theory says that PETA sometimes makes strange decisions that don't really help animals. Like they support actions that seem to harm animals or their image, such as controversial euthanasia practices. The idea is that these moves keep people confused and unsure about what animal rights truly means. This confusion benefits the meat industry because it stops people from uniting to demand big changes in farming and meat consumption. The theory also points to PETA's connections with big companies or donations from unclear sources as evidence. These ties are believed to be secret deals that kept PETA under control. Instead of being a real enemy to the meat industry, PETA is more like a controlled opponent, pretending to fight while making sure the industry stays strong. In short, this theory says that PETA is not the hero it appears to be. Instead, it acts as a tool to protect the meat industry by weakening the fight for animal rights from within. Theory number 22, cancer is man-made. This theory claims that cancer is not a natural disease, but something created by humans, either intentionally or through careless actions. It explains that cancer didn't exist in the same way before certain modern developments, and that it has increased because of things people have made or done. Now, the theory points to various man-made causes that can be behind cancer, like, you got chemicals in food, you got pollution, you got radiation, and even some medicines or vaccines. According to the theory, many industries such as chemical companies, agriculture, and pharmaceuticals have contributed to cancer by releasing dangerous substances into the environment. For example, pesticides and additives in food might cause cells to grow uncontrollably, which is what cancer, really is. Radiation from power plants, x-rays, and other technology is also said to damage cells in a way that lead to cancer. And some say cancer has been intentionally created or allowed to grow because it benefits powerful groups. The theory explains that cancer treatment, like chemotherapy and radiation therapy, is very expensive and makes lots of money for hospitals and drug companies. Instead of curing cancer, the treatments might just keep patients alive long enough to keep the profits coming. This means the real cause of cancer is hidden or ignored so that the disease continues to exist and make money. Now, the theory also says that governments and health organizations might be covering up the truth to protect these industries. They don't want people to know that cancer could be prevented or, cured naturally, because that would hurt big businesses. In short, this theory says that cancer is a man-made problem caused by modern technology, chemicals, and profit-driven interests. It's not just a bad disease that happens by chance, but a secret problem created and maintained by humans for control and money. Theory number 23, that there's a secret society of the 5 wealthiest people in the world known as the Pentavir, who run everything in the world, including the newspapers, and meet triannually at a secret country mansion in Colorado known as the Meadows. There is this theory about a secret group called the Pentavir, made up of the 5 richest and most powerful people in the world. This small group is said to control almost everything that happens happens on Earth, from governments to the media, including, even all of the newspapers. The idea is that these 5 individuals have so much money and influence that they quietly run the world behind the scenes without anyone really knowing it. Now, this group meets 3 times a year at a hidden and very exclusive mansion called the Meadows. This mansion is located somewhere in the mountains of Colorado, far away from the public eye. The meetings are secret and only the members are allowed to attend. There, they make big decisions about politics, the economy, and the news that people see every day. These decisions help them keep their power and control over the world. And the theory also says that the group uses their control over newspapers and media to shape what people believe. They decide what stories get told and which ones are hidden. This way, they keep the public distracted or misinformed so that nobody questions their authority or their power. The members of this group are often described as extremely wealthy business leaders or billionaires who have built their fortunes in industries like technology, finance, or oil. Their wealth gives them access to resources and secrets that most people can't imagine. In short, the Pentavir is said to be a secret society of 5 of the richest people controlling the world from the shadows. They meet secretly at a special mansion in Colorado and run the news and governments to keep their power safe. It's a way to explain how the world stays controlled by just a few people without most of us ever knowing. Theory number 24, the hollow earth. The hollow earth theory claims that the earth is not solid all the way through, but instead has a large empty space inside. Inside this hollow space, there could be entire worlds, cities, or even civilizations living hidden away from the surface. According to this idea, the Earth's crust acts like a shell, and inside there is another world with its own land, water, and possibly advanced beings or creatures unknown to us. Now, this theory explains that there are openings at the north and south poles, sometimes called polar entrances, which, are secret gateways to this inner Earth. These entrances are hidden or guarded so regular people cannot find them. Some versions of this theory say that this hidden world inside is warmer and has its own sun or light source to support life. And inside this hollow part, the theory says that there might be strange creatures, advanced technology, or even ancient civilizations that have lived there for thousands of years. Some people think that these civilizations could be responsible for myths about gods or monsters that lived underground. Others say that some UFOs might actually come from inside the Earth rather than from outer space. The theory also suggests that governments and powerful organizations know about the hollow Earth, but keep it secret to avoid panic or to protect their own interests. They might have special teams exploring the inside, but hide the findings from the public. In short, the hollow earth theory explains that our planet is like a giant shell with a hidden world inside of it. This secret place is full of life and mysteries, and only a few know about it or can get there through a hidden polar entrance. It's a way to imagine Earth not just as a big solid rock, but as a much stranger and more complex place than, we've ever been told. Theory number 25. Now we're going to, for the last theory, use one of my theories, or it's not really my theory, but it's just a theory that I have a lot of fun researching. And that's the theory that the Nazis were working with the aliens during World War II. So there is a theory that aliens actually worked with the Nazis during World War II, helping them develop advanced technology and weapons far beyond what was possible at the time. According to this theory, the Nazis made contact with extraterrestrial beings who shared secret knowledge and technology in exchange for cooperation or certain goals. A lot of people in this theory actually point that they met these aliens at Antarctica, and that's a whole nother rabbit hole, so if you guys want me to go into that, I will. Just let me know. But this connection is said to have given the Nazis an edge in the war and led to mysterious projects that still fascinate people today. Now, the theory explains that these aliens were not just visitors, but had a real influence on Nazi plans and powers. Some versions say that these extraterrestrials came from another planet or dimension and had technology like flying saucers or advanced energy weapons. The Nazis are believed to have reverse engineered this technology, which means they studied alien devices to build their own versions. That is why there are stories about Nazi flying discs or strange aircraft that looked very different from normal planes. And these alien connections were not just about technology, but also about, ideas. The theory suggests that Nazis adopted some of their extreme beliefs and symbols because of alien influence. Some say the aliens taught the Nazis about ancient civilizations, hidden knowledge, or ways to control the mind and people. This helped fuel fuel the dark and secretive side of the Nazi regime. Now, it also says that after the war, the aliens either helped the Nazis escape or continued to work secretly with some leaders. The supposed base in Antarctica or underground bunkers in Europe might be places where this alien technology was hidden. The theory explains that many governments today know about these alien deals, but kept it a secret to avoid public fear or chaos. In short, this theory claims that the Nazis did not act alone, but had help from aliens who gave them powerful technology and strange knowledge. This partnership changed the course of the war and left behind mysteries about secret weapons and hidden bases. The idea is that the true story of World War II includes an extraterrestrial connection that helped shape history in ways that most people don't even really know about. But anyway, guys, these have been 25, or I guess 24 of the craziest conspiracy theories, or I guess the darkest conspiracy theories that were shared on Reddit. Now, let me know in the comments below which theories, you guys maybe liked, or what theories you guys thought were possible, or even some theories that you guys didn't like at all and don't think there's any chance that those are possible. Let me know in the comments below, because I really do enjoy reading your guys' thoughts about these theories. And without further ado, I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your day. Please be sure to subscribe if you guys are not already, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace out.